Thank you so much, everyone. This is Dastagir Jahangir from Washington, D.C., State Department and White House representative from The Voice. Today, we are going to talk with our senior journalist, our brother from Pakistan. We know the Frontier Province, and he is working with the Frontier Post long enough to teach us, give us some experience. With me, I have a special guest, Jalil Afridi. Assalamu alaikum, bhaiya. Thank you so much being with me. First and foremost, I want to ask you how you are.
I'm doing good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
As we know that every time when we see State Department briefing room, you are there. And we see that you are asking not only question only on Pakistani issues, but Indian subcontinent or the Indo-Pacific zone, about the frontier Pradesh, Afghanistan. Just from your side, if you can tell your journey as a journalist from where you begin and where you are at now. Thank you so much.
I started my journey in 1999 from Shawat, and did journalism over there for about 16 years, and then came to the U.S. in 2015, and since then I've been covering the State Department, Pentagon, and the White House, majority of the think tanks. I did the print in Pakistan. We have our own printing press, entire newsroom, all those things. Here I'm just independently doing everything on my own, and it's been a great fun for the last 10 years.
Last 10 years, you were in the State Department briefing room.
Yes.
Okay, from these 10 years, you've seen the difference in briefing room because maybe you started with some president and then now end up with Donald Trump. Even though we know that Donald Trump win last election in very big difference, I mean, in popular vote, and people are thinking, U.S. people are thinking that he's most popular president. But what do you feel changes in the briefing room? If you can give us a comparison, what when you started and up to today, the briefing room story.
So yes, I have seen 2 Democrat presidents and 2 Republican. The Republican is the same president for the second time I'm seeing. And I will definitely say that during the Democrats' rule, their media guys are much more friendly, exactly according to the U.S. History, where journalism has been founded for 100 of years, you know. I feel like during the Democrat, journalists are given a lot more respect, a lot more freedom, and everybody is kind of treated almost on the same basis, equal basis. During the Republican time, especially, I mean, both these President Trump time, I feel like whether it is the White House or the State Department spokesperson, their behavior is very aggressive with journalists. They're very rude with journalists. State Department, I mean, Tammy Bruce runs the briefing room. I feel like the grade 5th children are sitting, you know, multiple times she leaves these notes on every chair for us saying how we need to behave, you know. I don't think journalists who have worked for decades should not be taught the manners of the briefing room. I think they're well aware of the manners and the etiquettes. And so just I feel like during President Trump era, this, especially this now spokesperson, had attitude with very senior journalists like you know, with Matt Lee of AP is extremely rude.
Oh my
with
God.
Saeed from Palestine is
Matt from AP, he's most senior journalist in the
It's
briefing
one of
room.
the, yeah, I started my journalism career when I started in 1999. I mean, Matt was one of the first people I used to watch, and he was pretty crazy like me. I feel like in that time he has calmed down a little bit, but I'm sure you have noticed his sense of humor and the taunting he does in the midst of, you know, and that is the beauty of press briefing. It's not like, you know, it's okay if somebody talks, or that's what makes it more interactive, and I feel like beautiful, and
So,
this
as a senior journalist and as a member of tribal community in the frontier province, I wanted to ask you straight one question for every of our journalists, that future journalists or today journalists, that you came from all the way Khyber Pashtun area, and we know that. With Afghanistan, there is still today some big problem going on about the thing that we have to, so we are not going there, but about this coming from Khyber Pashtun and end up in a briefing room like State Department and also White House. Can you tell me about this journey? Because a dream of a journalist to end up in this kind of places, and what is you learn and how what you want to convey or pass to future journalists.
Well, I will tell you one thing. Since this dream of journalist and being in this room, this dream was given to me by my father, who
Of course,
started
that
the
is very
Frontier
important to
Post, who
understand.
started the Frontier Post in 1984.
So your father is the
founder of the
founder
Frontier
of
Post.
Frontier.
He
The
just passed away last year. His name was Jalil Afridi. He started the Frontier Post in Peshawar, where the Peshawar University did not even have journalism department at that time. So we brought many journalists. He brought many journalists from Lahore, Karachi, Islamabad to Peshawar, gave them residences, and of course, much higher salary.
Tell more about your father, because this is very important. When you started with that, we never knew about that. That your father, he was a scholar, as I understand, and he established a newspaper. And you told also that there was no department or any course in that university, particularly. If you can go ahead.
Dad and grandfather were wealthy businessmen. Dad had special interest sitting with writers, with poets, with intellectuals. And I think that's where he got the idea that his province, at that time it was called the Frontier Province. That's why a newspaper was called Frontier Post. And then coming from the tribal areas, the tribal area people played a big role in when the Soviets attacked Afghanistan. A lot of the people from our area went in jihad over there. And then when the Taliban came, a lot of them came here, and a lot of them went over there. And the U.S. came to Afghanistan. Then again, people from. So I feel like my people have been misled quite a bit by both politicians and by both other forces in Pakistan, in one way or another. So the dream was given to me by my dad, and the torch was given to me by him, and I want to carry it, and I want to especially carry it for my people, because I do not know, beside Gaza, what happened. I do not know any other place in the world where people from one specific area have suffered so much as the people of my tribal area have suffered. And till this day, there is no Pashtun news media owner, although there are billionaire Pashtuns in Pakistan who are billionaires, but none of them want to come into the news media, especially English news media, because they know that it's a loss of business, and that's why they don't want to come in it, and they know there are a lot of struggles with it. So raising the voice for my people has been one of my most important agenda in these last 10 years here, where I want to tell them that our tribal area people are very peaceful, loving people. And yesterday, General Corella, or day before yesterday, General Corella of CENTCOM, while speaking at the Congress during his testimony, he said that, ISIS and these guys are in the tribal band. So now, from Soviet war to the Taliban to the U.S. in Afghanistan, now we have another drama being played of the ISIS being in our areas, and now the next killings is going to happen on this thing. Just a few weeks ago, but a drone was used to kill a few people in my area, and the parents of those children were protesting with their dead bodies for 1 week on the on the road. You know, the
Exactly.
children's dead bodies were in the
On
car with
everybody.
the AC on. So I feel like in Pakistan, nobody has suffered as much as people of my area from the tribal belt have suffered. And raising their voice, their population is more than 1 million people. Pashtun population is more than 35 million in Pakistan. You add the Afghan with it. All these Pashtun till this day do not have, there is no news media owner or anybody to speak about these 35 to 40 million people to raise their voice to these people who are at the helms of affair at the State Department, you know.
So your voice in State Department and your voice in White House, Pentagon, this area, if you can tell us something that is there any changes happen raising your voice? What is the result you got from last 10 years being in there? If you can tell for our reader or our listener.
The change I feel like is awareness. Also, a lot of time the change you do not feel
Immediately.
from people immediately. It happens with due course of time.
Of course.
I think my voice has affected a lot of people in Pakistan, including those in Islamabad. That's why my colleagues, my employees in Pakistan goes through the torturing of sometimes their payments being laid by the government.
Yes, of course.
So these are the sort of things that happen. But I feel like as far as education, at least now they can dream that if one Afridi can be a journalist at State Department, one day they also have a dream that they can also be one day
be here.
Yeah, so they at least dream as people live for dreams, you know.
So what your father made you or encouraged you, and you end up in the we say it hot place. I mean, in the briefing room. Now, really, we want one thing from it. When we go to State Department briefing room or White House briefing room, can you just give a little scenario how it works and how a journalist feels? What is the feeling of journalists? What you really do there? Is it very hot place? I mean, pressurized place, or it's a simple place? Something like that. If you just explain the briefing room stuff.
So I feel like there are 3, 4 different kind of journalists. You have the ones who are from the top news agencies in the world, you know, AFP, Reuters, AP, BBC. Well, the BBC is not a news agency, but you have the big shots, you know, and then you have the big news media outlet, international news media outlets, US news media outlets. Then, of course, you have the planted journalists, you know, you have those journalists who are
agent.
They are foreign agents. Some of them are declared foreign agents as well. And then there are some crazy ones like me and you who do not work for any agent.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that.
We have our other struggles in life we do to make our survival, because this is one of the most expensive cities in America.
Exactly.
You know, to survive here is, and then with family and children is a very difficult. So yes, in that room you do compete with from global international journalists to U.S. Journalists, and then with those agents journalists who are planted by the government and by foreign states as well, because they want to raise their issue in front of the U.S. as well. So yes, it's a battlefield. Every time I enter the newsroom, I mean the State Department press briefing room, I think it is a battlefield of journalism, you know, and I think ethics and credibility and raising the important issue is the beauty of this press briefing room, because the whole world watches it. The whole world leaders watch it. You know? So it does make a difference in multiple ways, I think. You know?
Jalil Afridi, senior journalist from basically American journalist coming from Pakistan frontier province and Khyber Pashtun tribal area. I will ask you before we finish one political issue. If you want to say, you feel free to answer. If you not, decline it. You know, humanitarian corridor happened in Soviet time in Pakistan because Soviet attacked Pakistan or Soviet sent no, I'm sorry, in Afghanistan, and with the request of the United States or Western country, Pakistan gave corridor to Afghanistan. And still today you are suffering. Nowadays, under Dr. Yunus' government, United States and UN asking Bangladesh to give corridor to Arakan army to Burma. And if you can tell or compare, if we give the corridor of what happened giving corridor in Afghanistan from Pakistan and still you are suffering. So is a corridor it good for anything or it's a political?
So for 21 years, when the U.S. was there, we always told the U.S. that you should not come here, you should not stay here. When President Musharraf gave the bases to the U.S. against Afghanistan, the Frontier Force did tell President Musharraf that this is a wrong move. This will hit you back in future. I do not think any country especially should give any corridors to anybody against their neighbors. I think it has somewhere future consequences. It does not come. You make governments and some politicians might make some good money during those years, but in the long run, I personally do not think that any country should be giving its land or its routes or its places to another country far away against their neighbor.
Very neighbor and coming from outside and using this corridor for military issues. And you are still suffering.
Of course, we are suffering. In particular, my people are suffering.
Your tribal,
my
people.
tribal area people have suffered most.
Can
my
you give me some example that before corridor and you told 21 years, I think it's more than that, 30 years, because Soviet Union came along ago. Yeah. So still now you do not have peace. I seen personally, you are asking State Department same question repeatedly that some thing happening always cross-border aggression from Taliban side or Afghanistan side to inside of your people. So nothing is changing. And if you can tell what's suffering your people.
Well, let me tell you something in Pakistan. Within a country, the most migration done of its own people are from my tribal area people. They have, and from very respectable families too. But of course, when you leave, so in Musharraf times, almost like 800,000 people or 700,000 people had to move to different areas. If you go to Islamabad now, you have people from tribal areas, Waziristan, and all over living in Islamabad, Pindi, all the way to Karachi and different parts of Lahore. And they're treated very bad too, by the way, because for majority of the Pakistani police or military, they cannot distinguish between a guy from my tribal area and Afghanistan because a lot of time our language is the same, our food is the same,
everything
our music is the same. Yeah. So sometimes within their own country, they're treated like a third-rate citizen, So the agonies and the problems they went through within their own country has been horrible. And that what will happen with the same people of your country who are in that border region. They will be the one who will suffer the most.
They already starting suffering.
They have already started. And they will continue as long as this thing continues. And then revenge is another thing. Revenge is our human instinct. Somebody kills your parents, your children. You naturally have that grudge that, yes, I have to get a revenge from them. And sometimes then people do it in physical manner. Sometimes then people do it in monetary, So, but that revenge aspect you also keep in mind because people don't forget, you kill somebody's children. They are not going to forget that you killed their children, And Pashtun people, the revenge is part of their culture. You know what I mean? For hundreds and thousands of years.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I think. And that has been one of my concern with the U.S. when, I don't know if you remember, when Ned Price was a spokesperson. And this was one of the questions I had asked him when they brought about 126,000 Afghans within a day. I asked him, I'm like, how are you going to do their vetting? I mean, did you do their vetting process correctly? So now the U.S. has 146,000 Afghans, and they're going to, of course, sponsor their other relatives, So how are they going to check how are they going to know that I mean, the Taliban did when the US was there, inside the US military base where the CIA office was, they did twice bombing inside the base in the CIA office.
So it could happen in anywhere, like
Well, it has already happened. One Afghan who was brought on this scheme has already, did commit a crime. That is already
in US.
in the US.
Thank you so much, Jalil Afridi, a senior journalist, 25 years in the field. He is working, he is fighting, he's asking tough question to last 10 years in State Department. Now I will ask the last question for the day, and that is an open question, closing remark from our senior journalist, Jalil Afridi. Your closing remark to all of journalists from all over the world. What do you want to say? It is your floor.
I just would want to say that journalism is a noble profession. It might not have huge money, but it might not give you a lot of monetary benefits, but it does have huge influence. You do have the opportunity to make a difference in people's life. It is up to you what kind of difference you want to make in it. Do you want to be on the positive side of the history, making difference in those who are in needs and those who are suffering? Do you want to stand with them, or do you want to stand for the crooks? But journalism is a noble profession. It's not like any other job that you do. I think journalism is something that gives you the self-gratitude as well, that gives you a peace of mind as well, where you believe that, yes, I can, or I have made a difference. At least I have raised this issue. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.